with us Paige Roache from California. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
So she has a very rich and diverse profile. She is into many things in accordance with our Yoga and Health Foundation, which is, clean living, plant-based diet, vegan diet. And she has a TV channel, Unchained TV. She is a host and she is very much into environment, and I would call her environmentalist. So please tell us something about yourself, who you are. Tell us about your passions.
Thank you so much. Paige Parsons Roache here from the United States. I actually live in California, Southern California. And I am a host on this show called Plant-Based in the Burbs on the international global Unchained TV streaming network. And I'm also, yes, an environmentalist. Since I was in my 20s, I went vegan after watching an incredible documentary called Cowspiracy.
Wonderful. And what year you became vegan?
2015. So I'm going on 8 years, October 1st.
So do you see the community around you are evolving? More restaurants, vegan restaurants are coming up, and the efforts of humans like you and us, those are doing their best in their ambit to promote this yogic lifestyle, like clean environment and yoga and plant-based diet, how to preserve our Mother Earth. We have this one planet, so we don't have another option. So how do you see the surroundings around you are changing, evolving? Do you see any change? Your efforts are making any effect in that sense?
I definitely feel like things have shifted in the 8 years that I've been vegan. I have more conversations with people. People actually know what I'm talking about. When I first went vegan, a lot of people just didn't understand what that meant. I think there's been a huge rush of plant-based conversation that has made the mainstream get more plants on your plate. And I think that has helped a lot with the vegan movement. I think, if we're talking about a whole human being, I think veganism is the way forward. I think we're evolving into how we naturally are born. We are born vegan. We are born to love animals and not eat them. And then we are indoctrinated, and I believe, and brainwashed to believe that we need to eat them to survive. I think we've evolved as a human race to realize that we no longer need to consume animals.
So how do you connect? In the previous question you said connecting, and we always say that it's a yogic lifestyle is a complete lifestyle, so we have to connect the dots, so nothing happens in isolation. How do you connect our food with mental health, pre-COVID and then during COVID and then past COVID? So things have changed dramatically, and I believe in a bigger picture it is for good. We are talking about mental health very loudly, either in the individual discussions or government level. So how do you connect our food with mental health?
I remember a very dear friend of mine who's been vegan for 20 years. More than that, actually. She one time just asked me the question. We've had lots of conversation. We've been friends since our 20s, so 30 plus years. And she said to me, what are your thoughts about meat eaters and them consuming the energy of the animals? This is before I was vegan. And I said, that's really interesting. I never thought about that. And of course, now I understand that when you're talking about the meat industry, you're also talking about the dairy industry. And you're talking about any kind of cow that's been raised to become a food product and their secretions, or a chicken for their eggs. It's when they're raised to become part of the food system. Those animals are sentient just like we are. So to me, that's when we're ingesting the energy of the animals. They didn't walk up and say, take me, I'm yours. I've had people on a spiritual level say, I connected with the animal, but I've never talked to an animal and had an animal say, yes, that's, this is cyclical relationship. I think it's something we've made up to justify our choices, our food choices. And before I was vegan, I wasn't. The day before, I wasn't. So I was this person. So I can relate to what it's like to being somebody who consumed animal products or secretions. And I say secretions because the milk is for the babies that the mothers brought into the world. So I feel like we haven't really dealt with this. Energetically, we are consuming that death. Somebody the other day said, but meat from India, the way they treat the cows, ahimsa, and drink the milk, that's the best, right? And I honestly said, the people that I've met from India have said it is a big lie. And sadly, we have in America have brought a lot of our customs over to other places and indoctrinated our philosophies as well. And I have a lot of honor for India and ahimsa. So how does that play in as well? Because I want to know how to answer when people say that to me.
Yeah, being humans, ahimsa should be the base of every human's life. And once we adopt ahimsa, then there would be no blood or bones in our food. So tell us about you being host. What is the main base of your TV channel?
This is the show called Plant-Based in the Burbs. We're a lifestyle brand, actually. And we have a cooking show that's on the global streaming network, Unchained TV. Mm-hmm. So Unchained TV is a global streaming network that I worked in partnership with a group of people. I have been working with Unchained TV for the past 7 years. And I'm proud to say I have a brand called Plant-Based in the Burbs. And Sherry and I started this. We're two moms, two women in our middle ages that went vegan, that changed the trajectory of our family as well. So I wanted to go back though on mental health and just circle to that, because this has really been so much fun. We started it, and remember, lockdown and shutdown happened in March. So then we decided to go virtual. So we were virtual for the past 3 years, and now we do things together and we're more out there, but it got us through a time knowing that we were doing something to bless others, to bring forth a message of health and wellness and happiness. I have not had a dark day like I used to have before going vegan. And I can say that 100%. And I really do believe, circling back to, I'm not eating the energy and the sadness of the torture and the cruelty that goes into the foods that I was eating before, the animal-based foods and the secretions. So, and I say that with honesty. I feel like going vegan and bringing people back to who they really truly are is what my life's purpose is and will be my legacy.
Your story is very inspiring, and you talked about your daughter, and whenever you talk about your daughter, I can see the spark and glow, and kind of you're a proud mom. So what role your daughter played in your evolvement on this path? You mentioned that she became vegan 6 months prior to you, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
Is she your guide or a pillar of strength?
I would say for sure, since the moment she was born, since she was in the womb, I felt I got a message from her to home birth her, and within 24 hours she was born of the decision. She was early, and it was a smooth, amazing, basically 4-hour delivery at home, beautiful. I was out gardening that day. So I feel like when she has something to say, I'm going to listen. Really.
You get extra strength when you have, some family member and younger than you to tell that what is wrong, what is right. So it is good to see that a young generation is understanding these issues. Yes. So it must be very overwhelming to address all these issues. I mean, on your Instagram, I was seeing the word unity, and it makes sense. So please tell us something about, you have used this word unity. I really liked it. So in what context you have said, okay, unity?
Well, I feel that we are united as beings. We speak different languages, we have different cultures, but ultimately we have the same passion for love and compassion and understanding and connection as human beings. And I feel if we could see the similarities in each other versus the differences, I feel like we would find more peace among each other.
Yeah, I mean, it is very important. And how do you connect with our Yoga and Health Foundation?
I'm excited. I'm excited about the collaborations. I love what you're doing. I think it's needed. It's a wonderful opportunity for people who are yogis to see the plant-based connection to the earth and themselves and the animals and all living beings, plants as well. I feel like the more we offer opportunities for people to be educated, they will have the opportunity to choose. So just realizing that we could consume and live and be healthy and educating myself, I think that's our duty. If as we grow and evolve and learn, we give back. You at some point, you realize, stop taking. It's time to give back. And what can I shift from having to get to give, provide, allow, educate, release, unify. That's what I feel like this point in my life, that's what I'm committed to being about.
I mean, I'm reading from last many years, the scarcity of water in California, the droughts you mentioned. I want you to talk about that, and thanks you brought up this question before me. So, any solution? I mean, you must be working with the groups, intellectuals in this field. So, how do you see our future and solutions, all those things in this, in this path?
I'll tell you, it's overwhelming. It is. I have aligned myself with Dr. Sailesh Rao, who is a systems analyst, and he started and founded what's called Climate Healers. He used to be he worked with, I think, Intel and helped speed the internet back in the day on a team, and has approached our climate crisis through the lens of an engineer. Dr. Rao has done the numbers, and if you look at climatehealers.org, you'll see his white paper. And to me, I trust him. I've been around him now for 8 years, and I believe what he says. So that's to answer your question. I know I'm only one human being here. However, I can do what I can, and I can promote what I can. So I spend a lot of time my day in promoting the things I believe, and then I do our show and our lifestyle brand, which gives me joy and fun. We have a lot of fun with it. We're going to be cooking.
When you connect with some issues, it is not work, it is fun. Affordability, and especially after COVID, it has become a very big issue. And I talk to the young students and other section of society, and they say, Aditya, vegan food is very costly. So the meat industry gets the subsidy from the governments. They promote that. How can the young generation can afford $30, $40, $50 vegan pizza? So what do you want to say? I mean, the government should promote veganism, and they are not doing that. They are promoting meat. Accessibility to meat, it is way cheaper. So there is a huge section I come across. I talk to them. They said, we want to become vegan, but it is because not everybody can cook. So generally, you go and you buy things, on your way to home or to work or to school, to college. So what would you suggest on that front? Because inflation is just too much. Yeah,
it is a challenge, and I think each country has its own challenge to work with. Here in Los Angeles, I can speak to this. We have communities that are doing outreach for students. For instance, the Vegans of Los Angeles Vegan Food Bank at USC. There's a lot of students that come in on scholarship and don't have access to healthy plant-based foods. So there's a new food bank going on campus, and that is a model for future college campuses. So for the students in college, there's also the Vegans of LA Food Bank, which anyone, and there's over 400 people that come on a monthly basis, can come and get a bag of groceries of plant-based, which is basically fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, and seeds. Those are folks who can cook. Those that cannot cook, I suggest you do some homework and find maybe there's places that have things that are affordable and stock up, if you can. Otherwise, that is a challenge. How do we now switch the subsidies to the plants? I don't have that solution. I'm not going to speak to people who are in other countries what they can do, but I do suggest do your homework to look around maybe where you can get things at a less price. So in America, what we do talk about is shop and cook and learn to cook. You can learn to cook simple things, and things don't have to be complicated. And yes, going out to eat is expensive. It can be, and it's gone up. And as a vegan for 8 years, we do a hybrid. We go out, it's special. I cook at home a lot. I've learned I've become a way better cook, and I have certain things that I make, but I'm saying if you don't have accessibility, that's a challenge. Yes, I understand. So we need to figure out how to get these foods to you at a reasonable cost, but don't let that deter you. Don't let that be your excuse for dropping the animals, the death, the cruelty, the energy, the karma, the ahimsa, all of that. Don't let that be an excuse for not going vegan. You will figure it out. There are millions of people who have gone vegan that have figured this out on a budget.
What's your favorite dish?
I love jackfruit. When I discovered that jackfruit was a plant and it wasn't processed, processed meaning you cook it. That's the process. People are so worried about that word processed. Everything's processed. If you cut a vegetable and put it in a pan, you're processing it into something else. It becomes chemistry, process. So I love a good jackfruit taco.
So what is the easiest dish to make for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's think about that. Well, what I do at home, so I just made this delicious polenta zucchini lasagna. So I sliced the polenta and I cooked it for a little bit. So I don't know if you have access to polenta where you are, but you can do whatever you want with this. But then I put zucchini and some red sauce and then some vegan cheese on top. I also make my own cheeses that I used, follow your heart, and then pop it in the oven, and it's so delicious. And you can add spinach for nutrients. You can add broccoli. You can add all kinds of things to it. I just made it very simple this time, but it's super yummy and easy to make. It takes like 15 minutes.
Well, that's great. We had a very interactive session. So please share your social media handles with us.
Paige Parsons Roache, so Paige and then Parsons Roache. Also plant-based in the burbs. So it's PLANT plant, BASED in the BURBZ. So, and if you go onto Unchained TV, you can watch all of our 8 cooking shows. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paige, for sharing your very inspiring journey, and looking forward to have more interactive sessions with you. Thank you very much. You have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.
Take care.
Thank you.